Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Joe Megibow. He's the CEO of Purple, and we're going to learn about the company's response to COVID-19. Joe, it's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and tell us a bit about Purple.
Yeah, Purple is a relatively new, primarily mattress manufacturer. We hit the scenes about 5 years ago. Although many may not realize, we've actually been innovating comfort solutions for over 30 years now, and have really been a innovator in comfort gels. We've got over 100 patents issued and pending on our unique ability to take our custom gels and construct them in very different ways. We're known for the Purple Grid. It's a unique sleep surface. It's kind of like a giant purple rubbery waffle that we really believe is the biggest breakthrough since memory foam was launched over 30 years ago. And it has very unique properties that allow unbelievably equal weight distribution. So your pressure points are all balanced perfectly. The nature of the grid allows for high airflow, which means you just do not get hot on our bed while sleeping. And the nature of the materials themselves are just instantly responsive. So as you move around, the bed is just always dynamically adapting to you.
Well, we love the pillows in my house, so thank you so much for that. Let's talk about COVID-19 and some of the messaging and how the company's been responding.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's been an interesting challenge for us. You know, unlike many of the new internet players, we're actually a manufacturer at our core. We have nearly 1,000 employees. We've got over 700,000 square feet of manufacturing and warehousing equipment. And you know, the first thing was if we couldn't keep that machine going, we really didn't have a business. And therefore, it wasn't so much of let's get everyone on laptops and at home. You know, we did need to find a way to keep the business operating. So we were really on the very early side of looking at safety and health and actually doing social distancing in a work setting. And we're able to find a way to keep just the machine going, which meant, you know, all sorts of things we had to look at. Break rooms and lunchtime. How did we start staggering times and limiting? So, you know, like one chair per table, just instead of having everyone show up at the same time on shifts, staggering shifts, doing non-contact thermometer readings as people were coming into the building. You know, every single person is checked at least 3 times a day, providing masks and, you know, reconfiguring the floor. So, I mean, we've had, as well as, by the way, we've, you know, contracted through the Utah State University system, a really high-end solution that actually once a week comes in and does a full aerosol bombing of the entire facility just to ensure that we've killed any viruses of any kind, including COVID-19. So just from an operating point of view, we really had to kind of reinvent ourselves. And fortunately, it's worked really well. And we've been able to keep both productivity up and the safety of our employees at a very high level. So that's internally. Separately, we've done some interesting things outside the company. If you like, I could talk about that.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about those.
Great, thank you. So yeah, the first thing we were looking for is just what could we do to help out? I mean, just at a time like this, everyone was looking at this pandemic, and we thought, what were our core competencies? And you know, certainly one of the things we're really good at is making beds. So we started working with some partners, an interesting organization called Relief Beds, who for quite some time has been looking for ways to get beds into those in need. And we're able to come up with a way to both fund creating this. So we partnered with a fascinating coalition called Brands for Better that has, I believe, over 120 brands in it now, and committed to, for the month of April, 10% of our net proceeds going toward the construction of relief beds. And we were able to collect over $250,000 through this process, which we have now put toward the construction of roughly 1,000 beds that we're donating for good. And actually just yesterday, we had the first 200 of those beds show up to a relief center in Los Angeles, and we're able to actually start distributing those to those in need. So that's just been a terrific way to both let the employees help out, do what we do, and design and build something ourselves that we could give back. The other is we were, as we were looking at employee safety, we were looking at what could we do for our own employees, and it ended up turning into something we could do for the world, which is we designed a great face mask. The pillows that you mentioned, and we love our pillows too, we looked at that and we realized we had all the ingredients here for a really comfortable face mask. The surface of the pillow is this breeze mesh fabric that it's moisture wicking and allows for high airflow. So we took that same fabric and we sandwiched it around some cotton. It's really just a high grade cotton that provides CDC grade filtration. And then our hyperelastic polymer, the gels we have, I can show one here, and it's in my backdrop, little mini bed. We took that same material and we created an ear loop that actually stretches to 400% its resting size, is very soft to the touch, and means you just don't get that pull on your ear. It's a much more comfortable approach. So altogether, it's comfortable on your face. It has greater than CDC recommended guidelines for personal face protection and a very comfortable ear loop that we were able to design new custom machinery and a new process. And we're just selling these things by the tens of thousands.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable how you were able to pivot the company so quickly. Joe, when we get to the other side of COVID-19, how do you think it'll look the way consumers conduct themselves, what it means for your company, for the industry?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's been just seismic shifts in consumer behavior. So, we've been talking about our COVID-19 response, but I mean, we've seen massive shifts in our business as well. So historically, I mean, this is a category that has very much been led by brick and mortar. So call it 4 to 5 people choose to buy their bedding and mattress in a brick and mortar facility. And as we have become a more major player, we've done that as well. We've had a very omnichannel approach, and more than half of the units we sold were through brick and mortar partners. What's happened over the last 10 weeks, obviously, is a big shift in behavior, and we've seen that drop precipitously. So either consumers can't or aren't willing to go to their brick and mortar stores, and most furniture and mattress stores weren't deemed essential stores, so they just weren't open, or again, we're just getting much lower traffic. So kind of half our business vaporized through this change. What we've been able to lean into and have seen happen is the consumer has shifted almost entirely online. So that same premium buyer, and again, we're a premium player selling sort of $1,000 to $3,000 mattresses, that same premium buyer has completely shifted over, and we've seen remarkably almost no decline whatsoever in unit volume. It's just all of those consumers that were buying in brick and mortar have completely pivoted online. Same consumers buying the same premium product. We haven't even seen any mix shift downward. So this has been, remarkably good for us. I mean, we have said in these very unfortunate times, we felt very fortunate as we've just happened to be able to service this customer quite well. The wild card is how much of that sticks over time. And I think there is going to be a pendulum shift. I believe that the consumer is going to be more willing to shop online, and those ratios of online to offline, I think, are going to shift more into the online side of things, which changes the landscape a little. But brick and mortar is not dead. We absolutely believe stores will reopen, likely slowly. And I think what consumer expectations are inside of stores is going to change as well. I mean, how you touch product and how you engage with product. We've already we have a few showrooms of our own. We put clean sheets on the mattresses every day. We launder them. We've tried to create, we have little disinfecting stations permanently located throughout the stores. And we were doing that as of last year. So, I mean, we were a little ahead of this. We really saw the consumers wanted that sense of, I'm not sure I want to lay on a mattress that hundreds of other people have laid on. But we think there's going to be more of that. We think consumers are going to be more aware of that. And I think retailers are going to have to change their approach to service these newfound expectations.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Sanitizing and good health is always a good thing. Joe, thank you so much for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you. Really appreciate the time.
All right, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.